USC students were shocked to see flames and a cloud of black smoke just off campus. We'll show you what happened.
A new candidate joins the race for California's U.S. Senate seat. Find out more about what he stands for.
And the deadly truck bombing in Somalia sparked protests. We'll show you why thousands of Somalians took to the streets.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
DPS sends a Trojan alert after a huge fire just off campus. Good evening, I'm Suji Nam.
And I'm Madeline Audley. We've learned that an RV caught fire. The flames and black smoke were visible over Exposition Boulevard. LAPD, LAFD, and DPS responded to the scene near Exposition and Watt Way. The driver of the RV was not hurt and there were no other passengers. First responders sprayed foam and water on the RV to put out the flames. LAFD Captain Nicholas says it's a mechanical problem that caused the fire.
Now we have more breaking news. A new filing by the State Medical Board accuses former USC Dean Carmen Puliafito of abusing drugs while working as a doctor. The filing says Puliafito consumed multiple drugs while practicing medicine and supplied drugs to other people, including a minor. We reached out to USC for a comment, but university has not responded. Well, in other news, it's official. State Senator Kevin De Leon is running for U.S. Senate. Annenberg Media's Hannah Wing was at the rally in L.A. for the announcement.
I am proud to announce today my candidacy for the United States Senate.
Hundreds gathered today at the Los Angeles Trade Tech College to support Senator De Leon. There were signs, chants, and a tent full of hope that he can provide opportunities to all Californians.
We refuse to go back. We believe every Californian deserves a real shot at the California dream.
Senator De Leon represents downtown and East Los Angeles. He has been a member of the State Senate and Assembly since 2006. De Leon supporters say they admire his fresh take on politics.
We're talking climate change, we're talking voting rights, we're talking immigrant rights, we're talking the rights of people to live together in diversity. And so that's why I believe in him.
Senator De Leon is taking on incumbent Senator Dianne Feinstein, who has represented California since 1992.
She's been respected in California for a long time. I don't think this argument about her age will make that much difference. I think people will look at her performance level in the Senate and during the campaign and make their judgment at that point.
Senator Feinstein is an incredible woman. I think she's very talented, and but you know, I also think that it's always really important to have new ideas, and Kevin De Leon has new progressive ideas.
Now, as you can see around me, there are hundreds of Kevin De Leon supporters. They can't wait to cast their vote for him in November of 2018. Reporting for Annenberg Media, I'm Hannah Wing.
Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi is pushing for the DREAM Act harder than ever after the White House rescinded DACA last month.
Today, Pelosi spoke to DACA recipients at the Coalition of Humane Immigrant Rights. For more, let's go to our political anchor, Tanvi Varma. Tanvi.
Thanks, Suji and Madeline. Pelosi is urging Republicans to sign on to the bill before Thanksgiving. So far, only a handful are on board. Nearly 800,000 people are currently protected by DACA and could be deported.
Now, just a word about the president and the heartless act that he committed when he rescinded the DACA. I have confidence that he believes in the Dreamers. He told us that. We said we had shared values when we spoke with him, and we must get this done.
DACA recipient who could be deported next year shared her story with Pelosi. Recipient Paulina Ruiz immigrated here at 6 years old because she wasn't able to get care for her cerebral palsy in Mexico.
Diagnosed with cerebral palsy, and I didn't have the resources back home. So luckily, I came here and I was able to get the treatment I needed. Eventually, I graduated from UCLA, and now I'm here contributing to this society. I'm fighting now for the DREAM Act because it is a permanent solution. We were left in limbo.
To hear more stories about Dreamers, you can visit CHRLA's website at www.chirla.org. You can also find out how you can get involved more with DREAM Act activism.
All right, well, thanks, Tanvi. Now, President Trump is under fire, accused of making disrespectful comments to the widow of an American soldier. Congresswoman Frederica Wilson said Trump told the widow that her husband, quote, knew what he signed up for.
Didn't say what that Congresswoman said. Didn't say it at all.
Accusation and says he had a good conversation with the widow. 25-year-old Sergeant LaDavid Johnson was killed in Niger 2 weeks ago during an ISIS ambush. Trump tweeted that Congresswoman Wilson made up what he said to the wife. We spoke to a veteran about the controversy.
It is disrespectful of what happened, of the events, or not even the events, the remarks that our commander-in-chief had made. It is absolutely no right for him to say that to his widow, because as a commander-in-chief, you should have at least the decency to know his name. If you're going to speak to her, you shouldn't treat this case as just another name, another statistics. You do not understand what she's going through right now, or what it takes to go overseas and fight.
Johnson was among 3 other American soldiers killed in the attack.
Thousands took to the streets in Somalia today to protest Saturday's deadly truck bombing. The attack left more than 300 dead and 400 wounded. Somalia's president blamed an al-Qaeda ally, al-Shabaab, for the attack. Somali student Abdi Kadir Noor Abdi took these videos. He says the protesters are chanting against terrorism, singing peaceful songs and the national anthem to declare unity. Though largely nonviolent, at least 3 of the protesters were injured after security opened fire at the crowd when they got too close to the attack site. But Abdi says he saw others hugging police to show they would work together. The AP reports that last year Somalia saw its highest number of explosive attacks, at least 395. This attack was the deadliest the country has ever seen. Some citizens are calling it Somalia's 9/11 and asking why it hasn't drawn more international attention.
Now, more developments tonight in the back and forth between NFL players and President Trump. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell met with NFL management and player unions. Our Chloe Chrysikopoulos is live in the newsroom with more. Chloe.
Thanks, Suji. Roger Goodell says he thinks NFL players who kneel during the national anthem are not trying to disrespect the flag, but he says he still believes they should stand.
We believe everyone should stand for the national anthem. That's an important part of our policy. It's also an important part of our game that we all take great pride in. And it's also important for us to honor our flag and to our country. And we think our fans expect us to do that. They are not doing this in any way to be disrespectful to the flag, but they also understand how it's being interpreted. And that's why we're trying to deal with those underlying issues.
The protest started last year when former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick kneeled during the national anthem to protest police brutality. Since then, hundreds of players have joined the protest. People on Twitter had mixed reactions. Some said they were perfectly fine with the players kneeling during the anthem. Others called Goodell a coward. They called on him to enforce the NFL anthem policy or not sit in the middle by saying people should stand. And others said the players are disrespecting the flag and the country. Goodell says the league won't make a rule forcing players to stand. This morning, President Trump tweeted again that the protests are disrespectful to the country. Suji, back to you.
All right, thanks, Chloe. Well, late night talk shows are taking on a new role as people tune in for more than just jokes. Hosts are tackling political issues as well. Jimmy Kimmel has been called the moral conscience of America after delivering emotional monologues like this one.
Maybe I'm nuts, but I would like to think we can put politics aside and agree that no American citizen needs an M16 or 10 of them. And maybe that way we don't do this again.
Students in the cinema school agree that politics are unavoidable.
I think we're kind of in a new political era right now where we kind of need political action with people from these late night talk shows.
You can't avoid it in a sense, and because of that reason, it doesn't make sense, I think, to avoid the issues because they're still happening.
I think they do a really good job for the most part of balancing humor and making light of these situations that you just can't take too seriously and being serious.
One SCA PhD candidate thinks comedy can be an effective.
So the fact that it's being taken more seriously now, I think, is a great improvement, right? That, comedians, there's truth in comedy, right? And sometimes it has to be, you have to take a moment, and use those platforms.
Now, ratings for Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert's talk shows have greatly increased over the past year.
Actress Jennifer Lawrence is talking about body shaming in Hollywood. Reaction from film and acting students next.
And a new survey shows college administrators are concerned about students' use of marijuana.
And going to the dining hall could soon be a very different experience. We'll explain why in a live report.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Actor Jennifer Lawrence has raised the issue of body shaming in Hollywood. She says a movie producer asked her to lose 15 pounds in order to be cast in a movie. A student film producer at SCA said they have not confronted the issue.
When you come to the screen, you become a little fat because we have the wide screen. So I don't think it's like a universal demand for the actor and or actress.
But we also talked with a cinema student. He says many actors are not prepared for what they find when they leave university.
But I know that the moment people get outside of USC, it spikes drastically. The one issue that USC has is we don't prepare women especially, and even men, for the stigmas and the roles that they have to fill for Hollywood.
Now, more actresses like Lawrence and Chloe Grace Moretz are now coming forward about their experiences with body shaming in the industry.
A new survey of college administrators released by the Hazelden Betty Ford Institute shows that school officials are increasingly worried about marijuana use on campus, but they're not sure what to do about it. The Institute surveyed more than 500 administrators anonymously from colleges across the country. It found that 37% of them believed that students were using marijuana more now than 3 years ago. It also found that 54% of administrators believed that students' attitudes about marijuana were more relaxed now than 15 years ago.
Usage has gone up for many reasons. It has become destigmatized with all the legalization. It is more accessible now, and many people all of a sudden have a medical need for marijuana, so they end up with medical marijuana cards.
After interviewing administrators from roughly 24 colleges, the survey concludes that administrators do not think their campuses are putting enough emphasis on marijuana education.
It looks like based on the findings from this survey, administrators couldn't quite agree on, what the problem is, whether marijuana use is a problem, and it seems like, information and training was the biggest thing they pointed to as a potential solution.
USC does not allow marijuana on school grounds. Even students that are 21 and over can get cited for possessing or consuming marijuana on campus.
Well, Maddie, it's October, but it is hot.
It really is, but I'm really excited to see what our weather anchor Erica Lee has to say about the week ahead.
Thanks, Madeline. If you think it's hot now, it's only going to get hotter. Let's take a look at the current conditions. Right now, it's about 77 degrees, and that's probably as low as it'll go. Let's take a look at tomorrow. You can tell that the ice in Big Bear is going to be melting and taking it back to the coast in Malibu. You're probably going to go hiking instead of go to the beach. Taking it back home to USC, it's only going to get hotter. Take a look at Glendale, it's 81 degrees. Taking it back to the 5-day forecast, take a look at Monday, 3 digits, 100 degrees. Bring your sunscreen. Los Angeles is expected to soar 30 degrees above normal with peak heat next Tuesday. This temperature rise due to wildfires in the Bay Area is putting Southern California at risk for wildfires. According to the Weather Service, when offshore flow combines with strong ridging, it brings hot mass to the area. In other words, it means that the damp pressure from the Bay Area will lead to scorching wind gusts and smoke in LA. Unfortunately, we do not know if the weather will be right for wildfires and if they will form or not. Stay hydrated, everybody. Back to you, Suji.
All right, thanks, Erica. Well, now the undergraduate student government here at USC voted unanimously to allow students to take food on the go from the dining halls on campus. Annenberg Media's Josh Cohen is live from Parkside Dining Hall with more. Hey, Josh.
Thanks, Suji. Well, administration must, of course, approve this food takeout plan first, but if they do get the green light on it, USG senators feel that, well, these students aren't going to be the only ones to benefit. Take a listen.
I know it'd be helpful for me, at least, if I was in the dining hall, if I could take back some food that I didn't finish versus just throwing it out and wasting the food that I know I'd probably eat later. So we all came together because we were really passionate about it. I know Katie's really passionate about sustainability. I really like hospitality initiatives because I feel like they affect every freshman here at USC because every freshman goes to a dining hall.
All right, well, I'm now joined outside Parkside Dining Hall by Ignacio Gutierrez, a freshman here at USC. Ignacio, how are you doing today? My first question for you, just what do you think of a food takeout program from a place like this?
I'd say it'd be a great idea, actually. Every time I have to run to class and I'm late and I want to get some food or grab a bite, or maybe even eat right outside at the tables, I think it would just be great. It'd be just more convenient for everyone.
Awesome. How often do you eat here at Parkside?
All the time. I live in a building in Arts and Humanities, which is right here.
Sure.
So this is my dining hall. So I'm here every day, 2-3 times per day.
Nice. Do you think this is something even as you get older, maybe a junior or senior, you still might be interested in a little takeout program?
Maybe if I miss the old freshman year food,
okay.
I'll definitely come back and get something. But other than that, I just think it benefits everyone who lives around here, or maybe even people that come from other dorms.
You got it. So a little 2 a.m. spaghetti might be a thing in the near future. Ignacio, I really appreciate the time, man. Yeah, so a lot of details about this program still TBD, but right now we know that it is promising, as I just mentioned. For some of that late night snack when you're studying, might not have to bolt down at the residence hall to get here just in time before it closes. Back to you guys in the studio.
That was a great report.
I'm hungry now.
But what I'm curious about, Suji, is if you're following any of the MLB games right now.
Yes, I'm a huge Dodgers fan. I'm so excited. Chloe, what do you have for us?
Well, Suji, before I can get to the Dodgers, USC has a huge football game going on this weekend. I spoke with an analyst to get an inside look on how the team is doing. Out in New York, the Yankees and the Astros are facing off in a decisive Game 5. While out in Chicago, the red-hot Dodgers are looking to sweep the Cubs out in Chicago. Sports is next.
You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. Why would you do that?
Probably okay isn't okay. Call a cab, a car, or a friend.
Good choice.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
USC football team had a big win against Utah last Saturday. They are now ranked 11th overall with a record of 6-1. I spoke with college football analyst Yogi Roth on how the team will fare in South Bend.
It's a really unique game, regardless of the history of it, which the players probably don't really care about, but just the atmosphere and the electricity, playing in South Bend in the fall, it's gonna be magical.
Sam Darnold is going to have to make big plays like he did in the second half of the Utah game. And the defense is going to have to be able to face the most complete offensive front they have seen so far this season.
Ideally for the Pac-12 Conference, I think a one-loss Pac-12 South champion against a one-loss Pac-12 North champion winner going to the college football playoff.
The USC football team travels to number 13th ranked Notre Dame this Saturday to take on the Fighting Irish at 7:30 p.m. This rivalry matchup is considered one of the biggest in college football history. USC and Notre Dame first played each other in 1926. They have met every other season since, except from 1943 to 1945 because of travel restrictions during World War II. Notre Dame holds the record for both the largest margin of victory and the longest win streak. The teams have won a total combined of 23 national championships and 13 Heisman trophies. No rivalry in college football accounts for as many combined honors. I spoke to athletic director Lynn Swan about the rivalry matchup this weekend. With all the scheduling changes, do you think that this matchup will continue for the next 20 or 30 years?
As athletic director at the University of Southern California, there is no game outside the Pac-12 that I would fight harder to keep than our rivalry against Notre Dame. I think it's important, the tradition, college football, what we both stand for, the impact it's had on the game.
The winner of the matchup will take home the jeweled shillelagh. USC can keep the win streak alive and bring home the trophy back to Los Angeles. The number 6 ranked USC women's soccer team travels to Washington to take on Washington and Washington State this weekend. Coach Kadani McAlpine talked about the challenges the USC women will face against these Pac-12 teams.
They're a great defensive team. They defend with 6, 7 sometimes consistently, so we'll have to be able to move the ball really well. But more concerned about probably the weather conditions that we're going to have to go into, and just remind them to be safe with the ball as we're probably going to deal with a wet surface and a little bit of mud and things like that. So it'll be a tough game and a fun game for us.
I have no doubt that the team can handle the tough conditions and avoid injury in order to remain undefeated for the rest of the season. The 19th-ranked USC women's volleyball team heads north to take on Colorado and number 12-ranked Utah this weekend. Coach Mick Halley talked about what the team needs to work on as the team heads to the Rocky Mountains.
We feel like all 4 pins are really good, and when they try to shut down Kalia or they try to shut down somebody else, then our right side attackers can score the points also.
Women of Troy will have to lean on their strong pin hitters to grab 2 more conference wins on the road against the Buffs and the Utes. Yesterday in Yankee Stadium, playing the NLCS, the New York Yankees beat the Houston Astros 6-4, tying the series 2-2. Last night's win was an offensive power surge for the Yankees. Aaron Judge, as usual, had a strong performance at the plate with 2 RBIs and a double.
Down 2, 3, 4 runs, it really doesn't matter with our team. We're going to keep fighting, keep putting out quality at bats, and that's what we did. We got down, but we were able to string a couple quality at bats in a row there and get the job done.
The Yankees are continuing their comeback run with their 3rd straight win over the Astros. Tonight's win was a 5-0 shutout. Sanchez knocked in 2 RBIs and Aaron Judge had 1 of his own. While the Yankees and Astros play again on Friday, there's a chance that the NLCS could end tonight. I'm joined by Jody Storm Sullivan here to talk about the matchup of the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs.
Thanks, Chloe. Well, before we get to the game that's happening tonight, let's take a look back and see how we got here.
So right here you have Yu Darvish. He gets walked and gets that easy RBI to put that score 4-1 for the Dodgers. Right here you have this is still Darvish right here. He gets that strikeout when he comes back in. You have Kenley Jansen, the Dodgers saver, one of their best closers, gets that strikeout to end the game and get that 6-1 victory. And you know, right now it looks like they're still tied 0-0, top of the second, still early, but I can tell you that this heart of the Dodgers lineup that's up right now, they could do some business on Jake Arrieta.
Yeah, definitely looks like an exciting game.
Yeah, you know, Chloe is a SoCal native. I really hope that the Dodgers can get the win tonight and play in their first World Series since they last won it in 1988.
Thanks, Jody. Suji and Maddie, back to you two.
The future of technology may not only affect how students learn, but who they learn from.
The story when we come back. Stay.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Facebook and Intel are now collaborating on new artificial intelligence technology, making it more possible to imagine a world with robots replacing humans. Some teachers say their jobs are not threatened.
I'm not impressed with the idea of robot teachers. In reality, teaching is being flexible, recognizing your students' needs, adjusting, responding to questions. And with a robot teacher, I'm concerned that we really lose an element of diversity in thought and that we don't cater to the diversity of needs that are present in a classroom.
While artificial intelligence may create fear of the unknown, advocates say technology has always changed the way we do things, sometimes for the better.
When the washing machine came, it automated that job. It replaced them at that job, and it freed them up to pursue education and more equal worthy jobs and tasks. If you're worried about your job that is something that could be automated, I would up your skills. I would encourage you to up your skills to make sure that you have a craft that could be enhanced by AI, but not necessarily replaced by it.
Facebook is reportedly sharing insights on deep learning technologies to give computers human-like abilities, including recognizing objects and words.
Well, thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone here, I'm Suji Nam.
And I'm Madeline Otterly. Thank you so much. You can catch us on the web.